Okay, Morgan. We got plenty of things to work on, that's for sure. But you do a lot of things really well. But good is not good enough if better is possible. Here we are starting out in the attack posture. And we'll show you up against Lisa Fernandez. Look at the red line behind her foot as she begins to push home. And look at the bend that she has. We call this attack posture, and you can see the angle, the red line down her back and the green line to bend in her knee. There's your push off your back foot as you come into attack posture. You could probably have a few more angles, meaning you could be bending forward a little more so that you had more push coming home. The next part is what's called circle start, and that's where the hand's at the very bottom and you're reaching with your glove, and you can see that the red line shows her forward posture, and we'll talk a lot about forward posture. So your red line, you have forward posture and your hand straight down, which is on the blue line, and you look pretty good here at circle start. Now as you go into the first quarter, you're reaching with your glove hand, and you're just like she is in the ball, as you're trying to drive towards home plate. So you look pretty good right here. Now you could stride a little bit more. If you look back on hers, you could be pushing harder towards home plate, but not bad. This is what's called circle peak. When the ball is at the very top of your circle, the blue line, you still have what's called reverse posture, which is very important as you enter into this and what's called the club in the X or K position. So the green line, you should be straight down the target line with your glove. Your glove's going a little bit left, but you make a nice letter K and X right there. The next part's called the toe touch, and the things that we look for at toe touch is as you touch, are you reaching towards home plate, and do you have a little elbow bend so that you can snap, and do you have reverse posture? So the blue line down your belly is your reverse posture. You have a little bit of elbow bend, but your glove is not reaching towards home plate. So then you come to what's called the third quarter. And as we get to the third quarter, the blue line to the red line is her shift from reverse posture to coming forward. You look very close to what she does right here, and you can see your blue line to red line as you're going from reverse posture. You're maybe a little bit too straight up. We want to make sure that we keep our nose behind the belly, but not bad. And then, of course, as we get here to the point of release, you can see how her elbow then unhinges. You've heard me talk about unhinging, and she gets a lot of snap. And you can see here you are at the first part of your release, and then how you snap forward at the point of release. And actually that's one of the things that I think that you do the best is that energy. But then here you'll see the back of your hand, which means our hand's not behind it, and we don't have the follow through that we need to. You pull your arm up, but we didn't get our arm through, and our hips aren't closing up and driving through as much as we'd like at the finish. So now here's just another one of you pitching a fastball. You look good as you get right here to the release. The ball facing third base, and then that's a nice good snap. Your glove hand, we'd like to see more, but then look how you shorten up right here. Your shoulder and your arm has got to get through, and you've got a lot of bend and snap, which is good, but we really want to drive, and look at your elbow sticking outward towards the third baseline, and then you pull it back in as if to fool me and say, hey, I finished right. We got to get your elbow in close to your belly and your hand behind the ball. Same thing. Now here you look really good. Your arm's in tight. We'd like for your glove, but then your follow through. Your elbow pulls in tight and up, and we want that elbow and arm to drive on through, and your hips to close up as you push through at the end. And so we're lacking on follow through. And this is where we lose a couple miles an hour. And you're a little forward right there. We want our nose back behind our belly. You see how you're forward and a little bit short. And we've got to have a little more drive home, but our nose needs to be behind the belly button. So here we are, fastball front on view, and gloves out to the left. Your hand snaps quick, your left of the power line, and your right leg is pushing backwards. Now, some would say that's okay, but here's Kaylee Smith. Kaylee coming the ball facing third base, then her hands directly behind as she lets it go, and then a nice snap up behind, and you can see her back foot eventually pushes and closes up. Yours flies out. If we can get everything tight on the power line and everything going home, we pick up more miles per hour. And of course you can see your elbow is out right there. So we're really losing a little bit of, we don't have good spin because our elbow's out and our hand's not behind it. Elbow and follow through. Elbow and look at your hand on top of the ball right here, just rolling the ball out the side. So now your changeup, maybe the best looking pitch that you have, and I really like your position right here, and it's hard to see in this next frame, but the ball is already gone, and it mixes in with your shorts right there. But look how low you've released the ball. That looks really good. And then you've got a nice follow through here at the end. Your elbow gets out just a little bit, and if we can keep that elbow in tighter, then we can locate. We have to be able to locate this pitch. But that's a good looking changeup right there. Here's your front view of the changeup. You continue that front foot to step a little bit left, but that's a nice low release and a hand up the power line and up the target line before your elbow sticks out. And that's really not that bad. That's pretty close to what we like. But that looks good. So here we are working on a from your changeup to your popcorn change. This doesn't look bad, and this is a nice popcorn. Your hand popcorns out, and you push towards the target line. So now we're going to talk about your drop ball and working on your drop ball. Your stride is way too long, as you can see right there, and so that keeps us from getting on top, and you're snapping in behind it. And we really need a shorter stride so that we get on top. And then you really pinch that arm up and close that arm up tight, and once again, we got to get long through to the target line. Look at Kaylee Smith, though. She pushes with her back foot to where her back shoulder goes up, where you have a tendency to want to bend forward just a little bit. So we want to use that back toe to kind of push us into a back shoulder higher so that we're throwing it downhill. But right there you can see you had no follow through at all. None. I mean, once you snapped it, your arm stopped. So here we go again. And once again, we're not on top of it. Our nose needs to be more forward and on top. I mean, you finish right there, but look at your elbow flying out. We need to be on top of the ball. And your elbow's out, and then you pull your elbow back in. Here's a front view of the same thing, your drop ball. It's not bad, but you're kindly bending forward, and we need to be sideways so that we can be on top, not leaning forward, and our elbow not flying out. So our elbow and our follow through needs to be a little tighter, and we have to be able to get on top of the ball, but it all starts with your stride. You have to cut that stride down so that we can get on top, and you need to cock a wrist in the glove. Elbow out, and it's hard to get on top, and we don't get the right spin. So right here, our priorities at the end or we got to get on the power line, not overstepping and throwing back across our body. We got to get our elbow back in tight so that we can be behind it for a nice 12-6 rotation, working on our follow through. And you do a lot of good things, but work on these priorities that you see here at the end.